This one looks like a cheat meal, but it really isn't. It's going to help you stay within your macros. It stores and reheats incredibly well, and best of all, there's no compromise on flavor. It tastes delicious. This right here is everything you're going to need, plus a couple of extras, which includes olive oil, salt, and pepper. In this bowl, I've got 1 kilo or 2.2 pounds of boneless and skinless chicken thigh, and we want to add 2.5 tablespoons or 50 grams of high protein yogurt, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, and half a teaspoon of ground coriander. Squeeze in 1/4 of a lemon, just get all that juice in there, make sure there's no seeds in there as well. And then grate 3 cloves of garlic on a microplane to create a paste. Scrape that into the bowl, add in a nice pinch of salt, a little bit of cracked black pepper, and use clean hands or a spoon and just start mixing this all together. Make sure everything is nicely marinated. Now you can use this straight away, or you can let it marinate for about 30 minutes up to 48 hours. Obviously the longer the better. I know time can be a little bit short sometimes, and to be honest, I'm gonna use this straight away. So with that done, we can then pop this aside for the time being. For a sauce to go over at the end, add in 2/3 of a cup or 180 grams of high protein yogurt to a bowl. Grate 1 clove of garlic, add that in. Squeeze in the juice of 1/4 of a lemon. Again, just make sure no seeds decide to hop in. And then season to taste with salt and a little bit of ground white pepper. You can use cracked black pepper if you prefer. Mix that around, make sure everything's nicely combined. You can leave it in the bowl like this and then spoon it over at the end, or even serve it in a separate container. But I like to put this into a squeezy bottle. Just makes it a little bit more presentable when serving it up. Place on a lid, and this can go in the fridge until we're ready to serve, and this will last up to 1 week in the fridge. Now it's about time I include some vegetables into these dishes, so what I have here is half of a red onion that can be thinly sliced, 200 grams or 7 ounces of cherry tomatoes that can be halved or quartered, or you can use regular tomatoes and roughly chop them, then chop half of a cucumber into quarters, and I'm going to slice these into triangle pieces, but you can cut these any way you prefer. Add everything to a bowl and add in 100 grams or 3.5 ounces of washed lettuce, give it all a really good mix around, and then we can start portioning this up. I'm using 5 small Louvelli containers, and I'm not going to worry about dressing them right now. We can do this at the end with a touch of olive oil, lemon juice or vinegar, and touch of salt. Now there is one last thing to do before we get cooking, and that is just to grate 2 cloves of garlic on a microplane to create a paste again. And this is going to be used for the rice. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. You don't even have to use garlic for the rice. Just adds a really nice finishing touch. With the rice, place a saucepan over your stovetop and place it onto a medium-high heat. Add in about 1 tablespoon of olive oil and the garlic that we grated just before. All we need to do is cook this for about 1 minute just to get that nice and fragrant. We don't want to put too much color on this, and just make sure you break it up because garlic, once it's been grated, does clump. Add in the rice. This is 300 grams or 10.5 ounces of washed Basmati rice. Then add in 600 milliliters or 600 grams of cold water. Give this a mix around, make sure nothing's stuck together, and we can bring this up to a boil. You can also add a touch of salt if you like to season your rice. Now with this at a boil, place it on a lid, reduce the heat to low, and we can cook this for 12 minutes. I'm just going to move this out the way for the time being. And then what we can do is place another large pan over a medium-high heat and get this nice and hot. Add in 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Add in the chicken, and you might need to do this in batches depending on the size of your pan. Make sure nothing's overcrowded, otherwise you'll end up steaming the chicken instead of searing it. And what we want to do is cook this for about 4 to 5 minutes on each side, getting that nice golden crust all over. Remove the chicken and then allow it to rest for 5 minutes. Now come back to the rice. This has been cooking away for 12 minutes. Leave the lid on for 4 minutes and then you can remove it. Just be careful of any of that steam. Squeeze in the juice of 1/4 of a lemon. This is completely optional, just adds a really nice freshness to the rice. And then go through with a spatula or a fork and fluff the rice up. What you should have is perfectly cooked rice that's nice and soft and fluffy. Once the chicken's rested, you can either leave it whole or you can do what I'm going to do and just slice it into strips. You can also dice the chicken if you prefer. Start by loading the rice up first. I like to place this into the bottom of the container, and I'm using 5 750 milliliter Louvelli containers, which I have a link for in the description. Load these up with the chicken, let all of those flavors go into the rice. It's just going to increase the flavor of that rice even more. There will be a fair amount of resting juices too, so just spoon that over. Don't forget about that yogurt sauce that we made at the beginning. And if you'd like to, you can add a wedge of lemon per container. That leaves us with our fluffy soft rice, the tender spiced chicken, and the garlic lemon sauce. And this right here is the macros for a single portion. There is only one thing left to do, and that is we can then dig in. So good. So good.